Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Tessa Tries. I hope you are all doing fabulous. Very excited to be back for yet another episode. If you are watching on the old YouTube, you'll see I'm in a different place. Oh, different day, different bed. Not in that way. Get your mind out the gutter. I am now filming in London. I'm back in London toon. And so I'm in a different location. So just really spicing things up. Anyway, if you're like me, you will have been watching Traitors because the new series of Traitors is out. I am a bit far behind. I've got a few episodes to catch up on, but I actually just watched Celebrity Traitors, and guys, let me tell you, what a show. I cannot get over. I cannot get over how good it was. I was watching it last night and I was bawling my eyes out like a child. First of all, okay, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Celeb Traitors, go and watch it. If you have seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. First of all, when Stephen Fry was kicked out, I don't even know if I'm ready to talk about it yet. The way I was weeping, for some context, I have some sort of affiliation with Stephen Fry and my dad. Like, I think that they're the same person. They're obviously not, they're completely different people. But they're both called Stephen, for one. And for two, they're both just incredibly clever and thoughtful and talented. And hey, my dad's my dad's the same. Stephen Fry's the same. And so whenever I see Stephen Fry on TV, I just think, oh, he's like a wee dad. He's a wee dad. Anyway, when he went out, I was bawling my eyes out like a little baby. To the point I thought, is something wrong with me? Why am I crying so much? Anyway, when he went out, disaster. And then the final, guys, what sort of crack energy are they putting in the final of these traitors? Because I fully thought that Nick was going to vote for Alan, and I thought David was going to vote for Alan. And the fact that Joe went out, I was literally shooketh. Somehow I'd managed to avoid spoilers. I don't know how, because obviously I'm so late to the party, but gosh, when Alan won and he was crying his eyes out and he was like, it's such a burden, I just thought, because I've often thought I would probably be quite good at traitors because I used to always play werewolf with my friends, which is basically the same thing. And when I watched that, I thought maybe I would not be good because it is quite a burden to having you to be constantly lying to people. I, in real life, can't lie to people unless it's like a bit. If it's a joke, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm like good at it. But if it's not, earlier today, I was trying to actually attach my mic to a chair and I dented my brother's chair. And immediately I had to tell him because I just can't. I'm not one of those people that's like, meh, he's not going to notice. I was like, oh my gosh, I must be honest about this, not upfront. Anyway, so long story short, I don't actually think I'd be good at traitors, but I kind of do. Anyway, the reason I speak about all of this is because Traitors is on currently, and guess who worked in it? Guess who's got two thumbs and looks like a Dawn? This girl. I worked on Traitors, which I'm sure my friends and family are actually bored of hearing now because I do yap, yap, yap on about it quite a lot. But when I was watching it back, I thought, this is pretty freaking epic, actually, that I worked on it. When I was on it, it was a bit of a fever dream. Anyway, this episode, I'm going to go over all the traitors behind the scenes, what it was like to work on it, who was there, all that malarkey. So stay tuned if you want to hear about that. Let's start at the very beginning. Very good place to start. In the words of Mary Poppins. Was it Mary Poppins? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, it begins. I'm back home. I'm unemployed. Hell. And then basically, I caught wind that Traitors had to employ Scottish people because they weren't employing enough Scottish people. Naughty, naughty. Anyway, they got told they had to employ more Scottish people. And I'd actually tried to get on it every year to no avail. No one had ever replied to me. This year, I got the golden ticket. I managed to get a job in it. I think, honestly, I was a token Scot. I think they thought, tick, check her off the box. I was like, yeet, let's flip and go. I basically got the train from Edinburgh to up north where it's filmed. And I actually was so nervous on the train because I thought this is quite a long train journey. I do not want to be stuck with anyone that's from the show because hey, I can talk for Great Britain, but I also can't. If I'm not in the mood, I will be a mute. It's like someone's turned me off. Like I can happily not speak, but also I am a yapper. Anyway, on this train, I thought I do not want to speak to a single soul. So luckily, I think it was actually a train from London to up north. And I think the people that were already on it all had like kind of a carriage to themselves, the party carriage, as they called it. But I was alone, and thank goodness for that. I was keeping my eyes peeled for any TV like characters, because one thing you should know about television is it breeds a certain type of person, not to stereotype, but I mean, I am kind of one of these people. Well, not what I'm about to say, but I am. I did used to work in TV. A lot of TV people, if you're trying to spot them, they wear all black everything. A lot of the time, that's because that's what you have to wear, but also just in general life, I think a lot of them wear all black. Second thing, carabiner. They have bum bags on. I am a slut for a bum bag, let me tell you. It's just so handy when you're working on a TV show. So, bum bag, look out for that. I also thought people with big suitcases would be a good spot, because we obviously had tons of stuff because we were going to be up north for ages. So, big jackets, you know. I thought also chatty people, two people, blah, 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 blah. I thought that's gonna be a lot of TV people. Anyway, I managed to look around, couldn't see a single person taking off these categories. And so I sat by myself. I just listened to some music, probably tried not to be sick, so I was so nervous. And that was kind of it. That was my whole journey. Managed to get there safe and sound. Thank you, train driver. Appreciate you. And I got off the train and I thought, oh, here we go. I could see a big group of people all together, and I thought, oh, that's me, that's me. I better join in. So I went over and I was like, oh, hey, hey, you guys aren't doing Traitors, are you? They're like, oh, yeah, we are. Anyway, got introduced to everyone. I'm not going to lie, that first introduction is just so scary. I would say that I'm a chatty person, I'm a friendly person, but like, things like that do give me anxiety, and I was riddled. I was absolutely riddled. Unfortunately for me, everyone knew each other. Like, everyone obviously was on the year before. So everyone's like, oh, it's so great to see you. Everyone had worked on this other show called The Inheritance. And so everyone knew each other. And I was thinking, this is gonna be a long 2 months. This is gonna be long. Anyway, that's how it all started. Next few days, induction, got to go to the castle. That was freaking epic, obviously. I actually found my friend. So I knew that one boy was working on it, my friend Ross. I knew he was working on it. So I managed to speak to him, and I felt a bit less sick to my stomach, because I thought, well, at least I've got one friend. And then it begun, guys. And then it freaking begun. So let's just actually just get straight into it, shall we? For this show, I was the art runner, which I kind of lucked out in, because I always ended up being the art runner in TV shows. I don't really know why, I just like art, I guess. Now, the art runner might sound like, wow, that's so cool. You were painting the set. You were doing this. You were doing this. No, guys, I was not. My day to day essentially was I'd drive in, I'd have my breakfast, and then I'd go to the art department. I'd like stock up if they needed snacks, they needed drinks, you know, whatever they needed, I'd get. Then they would ship me off to go and buy paint and tons of art supplies. And then I'd bring it back. Then I'd go get them all their lunches. Actually, one of my first days, I had to get like 15 people lunches. And it's not like, oh, you all get the same lunch. It's like there's choices. And people were telling me their choices. I had to scan in everyone individually to be like, this person's getting their lunch, this person. And then it's like, oh, get this. They want the meat option, they want the chicken option, they want this. And then some people would go as far to be like, I want the fun salad. I want the fun one. I'm like, what does that mean? Anyway, I was shitting bricks, and so lovely Daisy and Cherie really helped me out. They would help me like box up the lunches and stuff. I know this doesn't sound like it was a hard job, but it really was. It really was a hard job. Then I'd probably go back into town, get all this other art stuff, and then I'd come back, and then it'd basically be the end of the day. And that was kind of it. And it was 12-hour days, and it was, I think we'd do like 4 days on, 1 day off, 4 days on, 1 day off, maybe something like that. Anyway, it wasn't really all the glitz and the glamour that I think a lot of people think when you think of TV that's going to be. But what was good about it was the other runners had people constantly, hey, can you get this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Blah, blah. Why is this not done? Why is this not done? Whereas I was kind of like do my own thing. I was with the art team, so no one would ask me to do things because they'd be like, oh, she's with the art team. Okay, scot-free. Okay, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just the art runner. I'm just doing my thing, which was really quite nice. But also, as it went on, I was a bit #lonely. I was like, this is a bit sad that I'm always by myself in my car. Like, I'm just driving everywhere all the time, um, which did get a bit lonely. Actually, while I was there, I drove a multitude of vehicles. Everyone always asks me, Tessa, you look like someone that can't drive. Like, you don't look like you can drive. Okay, first of all, rude. Second of all, I can drive and I'm hashtag good, y'all. I can skirt all over the gaff. When I was up there, I was driving normal cars. I was driving electric cars. I was driving 9-seater vehicles. I was driving pickup trucks. I was driving BMWs. Honestly, I was driving them all. They'd give me the keys and I'd skirt about. I actually specifically said I didn't really want to drive like these big 10-seater vehicles or 9-seater vehicles, but somehow somehow I ended up doing it. One of my jobs was to drive people from place to place. Absolutely fine. It was always the crew, it wasn't any of the celebs. They come in my car, I say, hey, I'm like, let's pump the music up. I did one time actually, I was playing, is it Bonkers? I wake up every day in a daydream. Was it that? What's that song? And it's like, I don't need no speed. I don't need no heroin. I don't want no. Do you know that song? Baseline Junkie. I was playing Baseline Junkie at full volume and they came in and it was like execs. And I thought, this is not a great look. And someone actually said, oh, Baseline Junkie. Interesting song choice. I thought, right, well, you're in my car. If you want to be the DJ, you absolutely can, but I don't see anyone stepping up. No one's going in the aux cord, so you're going to have my tunes whilst I drive you. Anyway, these people would come in and I'd say, hey, how are you all doing? You know, whoa, welcome to the party bus. And then I'd say, hey, sorry to be annoying, even though this is not annoying. Do you mind putting your seatbelts on? Why am I asking grown adults to put their seatbelts on? I'll never know. Anyway, I say, do you mind putting your seatbelts on? No one listens to me. Some people do. Some people have their seatbelts on. Some people are also just normal and put their seatbelts on immediately. Some people just wouldn't put their seatbelts on. I don't know why. It wasn't a long journey, but like, and it wasn't anywhere where we'd see other cars really. But still, put your seatbelt on. You don't know what I could do. I could do mother flip and flip. I could flip this thing. Like, why are you not putting your seatbelt on? And the most annoying part of it is, I'm like, well, it's your safety. You do what you want. See if I care. I mean, I did care. But there was this beeping sound from the van. So when I was driving, then all I hear is beep, beep, beep. And I say again, oh, do you mind just putting your seatbelts on, guys? I've got this beeping sound and I'd rather not hear it for the next however long. No one listens. No one listens. Tessa Muggins over here is driving with a beeping sound in her ear and 10 people in her car that she doesn't want to drive with. What the heck? Is that not so annoying? Like, I'm the lowest of the low in this job, guys. I'm not asking for much. I'm getting paid minimum wage. And you won't even follow a simple instruction when you get in my vehicle. Annoying. And this is your sign, first of all, to always wear your seatbelt. Second of all, to not be a dickhead. Like, why are you doing that? It's so annoying. Anyway, rant over. Driving was like a whole thing on this show. Multiple times I did think, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fall asleep and die because I was so tired. I know this doesn't sound like it's a tiring thing to be doing, but when you're constantly, whenever I work in TV, I'm constantly la la la. I'm trying to make everyone laugh. I'm trying to like be fun to be around because it's a long day. You don't want to be around someone who's really annoying and boring. So I'm constantly trying to, keep up the good vibes. Also, I'm a bit ADHD coded, so I guess I'm asking random questions. I'm kind of doing like, well, just being silly. And doing that all day, then having to drive people home at night, it's quite tiring. It's really quite tiring. And so when I was driving, like I drive like 5 hours in the day sometimes, or like maybe that's too extreme. Maybe it was like 3 hours. Quite a big difference. But I'd be driving a lot of the time. And guys, I'm like this. Like it was so bad. It got to the point actually where, first of all, I was drinking 3 coffees pre 12 a.m. And I know for some people that's not that crazy, but like I actually don't need coffee. Like I actually just out of habit drink coffee, but I think I could probably survive that coffee because I'm pretty alert, awake, alive all the days. And I was having 3 by like 11, 12, and then I would then have a white monster at like 1 o'clock. And so obviously my caffeine was going up and down, up and down. Like I was obviously going to be tired. But I remember one time distinctly driving over this bridge and like my eyes were shut. Like I remember being like, woof, and opening them and being like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like I almost crashed. So I pulled over into one of these little side of the road gaffs. And I think I slept for a bit and then I got myself another energy drink or something and carried on. Now, this was kind of scary for one. For two, also, I had it almost a crash, but this wasn't my fault. I was driving along the motorway and this, no, it can't have been the motorway. I was driving along a dual carriageway, I think it was. And basically, there was a bit where someone could come out and turn over my lane. So I'm going quite fast on this lane and they could turn over. Now, this car came round and obviously I was going super fast down this way towards them. So I thought they're obviously going to wait for me because they're not indicating yet. Like, they're not going to pull out, obviously. Anyway, instead of just pulling out and going along, which they could have done because it wasn't that like they're fast enough. Instead of doing that, they pull out, they go in front of me in my lane, and they're probably going, what, 20 miles an hour? I'm at 60 at least. Or no, I must have been at 60. And so I have to slam on the brakes, and there's just like nothing, no repercussions, nothing. Like, luckily I didn't smash into him, but the guy's just driving away, doesn't care, doesn't care. I'm thinking, so we almost just died there, huh? How about that? We literally almost died and you just don't give a rat's ass. How about that? So I did, when he changed to the left lane, I did overtake him and I did glare at him. There, I'll say it. I did give him a big glare and a stare because I thought, what are you doing? I also thought, why do women get a bad reputation for being bad at driving when I'm freaking epic for one, and for two, anytime I've been in a remote situation where someone has almost caused a crash, it's been a man. Let the jury know it's been a man. So riddle me that. Riddle me that. Anyway, so this got to the point where it was hashtag dangerous because I was falling asleep all the time. Not at the wheel, obviously, but I'd have to go to the side of the road and sleep and stuff. And this got back to production and they put me on a driving ban. They actually put me on a driving ban because they were like, this is really dangerous and you shouldn't be doing that. And I was like, yeah, I actually would tend to agree with that. The only issue with this is then it just meant that my friends were having to do my work because I was so tired, even though they're doing a really tiring job as well. So it didn't really counteract the tiredness of it all. And get this as well, when I left, so I was in charge of the art team who were building all the props. I was in charge of the art team who were building like the smaller props inside the castle and dressing the castle. And I was in also the art runner for the challenges. So I was everywhere all at once. Oh, what's that film? Everywhere all at once? Everything, everywhere all at once. That was me. I was that for everyone all the time. When I left, because I only did 2 seasons, when I left, they hired 2 other people. 3, in fact. So I disappeared and then they had me, they'd hired someone, and then they hired 2 other runners. 3 runners to do the job that Muggins over here was doing by herself. Make that make sense. Obviously, they realized, oh, Tessa's a shell of a human being now. We must hire more people. So yeah, then it ended up being 3 people doing the job that I did. Okay, I'm good at my job. How about that? You heard it here first. Anyway, if you're a Traitors fan, you probably want the BTS, the good vibes. Guys, I saw the celebrities probably twice my whole time I was there. Like, honestly, I didn't know who was there most of the time. Do you know what's actually crazy is we basically had a briefing about what celebs were coming in. I actually wasn't there for some reason. I have no idea why. But about 17 minutes after the meeting, it had been leaked to the press. What? It literally already been leaked to the press. And they'd put a story out about 17 minutes later after the briefing. Now, Inspector Clouseau over here has to think about that. If I was a runner, which I was, would I have contacts in the mail in BBC that would listen to me? No, probably not, because, well, I don't. But you would have just found out about it and you're in a meeting. How would you have texted someone in that time and given it away? My theory is that one of the higher ups, execs, if you will, maybe knew and they leaked it to the press because obviously it's good press. They want people to get hyped about the show. It would make sense that they would leak it themselves. But also, you'd probably get a fat payout. So why not give it to one of the little runners? One of the runners on minimum wage. Why don't you give it to us? How about that? Just food for thought there. You know, let the little guys have some money. How about that? So I actually really didn't know what was going on with the celebs. Although one time I basically got to be on one of the challenges and it was the challenge where, if you've not seen Traitors, this is probably hashtag boring.com, and I'm truly sorry for that, but you're the one listening, so I can only apologize. I can only apologize, but I'm just giving you my point of view of the whole thing. My BTS, if you will. I got brought on to basically help out on one of the tasks, and it was this task where the celebs had to go in a coffin. There was 3 coffins, and then they would shut if the answer was wrong, I think, or they would stay open if the answer was right, something like that. Can't even remember, to be honest. But what I do remember is on the day it was pissing down with rain, and I mean pissing down. It was, the heavens had opened, you best believe, and I was stood at the side like a little runner girl, the little runner girl I am. And basically, they were like, we need a runner, we need a runner. And I had to run in, I had to dry the coffins. And also I had to de-nail the coffins because there was nails in the coffins before the celebs got in, which it's kind of giving dangerous. It's kind of giving dangerous. Anyway, we de-nailed them. And also I was drying them all before Paloma Faith and Nico, and I can't remember who the other one was. Was it Nick Mohammed, maybe? All went in the coffins, but I got to stand there and dry the coffins, and I was looking at the celebs like, hey, just drying your coffins, guys. Don't worry about it. Just drying your coffins. So that was kind of fun, but that was probably the only time I ever met the celebs, which I feel like is really sad because everyone always is like, how many celebs have you met? Who have you met? That's cool. And I'm like, guys, I don't know. I don't know who's winning. I don't know who's in the show. I don't know anything. And actually, this came to fruition. This actually showed when recently, well, just before the show announced the winner, before we got to the final or even near the final, someone from my work said, oh, we're gonna get Kat on the pod, but like we also want to know if she wins, so I can like write questions about that, blah blah blah. So can you tell me? And obviously you're kind of sworn to secrecy, like you're not really meant to say to anyone who wins. But I was kind of like, oh, wink, wink, like that's a good, I was kind of like, that's a good person to get on, yeah. Insinuating that she'd won. And then when the Traitors final comes out, I get a call being like, by the way, she didn't win. Why did you lie to me? Oh, the way I was mortified, I was like, oh, I don't know where I plucked this from, but I thought in my head and my heart of hearts that Kat had won. Maybe I just thought she'd be a great winner, and so I just believed it. But I had literally, people had been like, oh my God, it's crazy. Like, you know who's won? That's crazy. And you can't tell us. And I was like, no, it's a secret. I was on my high horse, let me tell you. I was trotting around. I was galloping, cantering, you name it. I was doing it on that horse. And I didn't even know the right answer. Claudia Winkleman, everyone was like, how's Claudia? By the way, guys, saw her twice. Again, did not really see her ever. But she had a runner, and her runner, she had 2 runners. They were both really lovely. And they said that Claudia is amazing to work with. So if you wanted the tea, there it is. Apparently, she is so nice and so fun and so dedicated to her craft and just brilliant. And I feel like that restores my faith in a lot of celebrities, because sometimes you do hear bad things about celebs. So slay, Claudia. We love you, clothes. We love you, clothes. Now, whilst I was up there as the art runner, I had some strange requests that I had to fulfill. Often it was like gallons of paint or something like that. But one distinct memory I have is having to go to B&Q, and I had to purchase 20 razor blades and 20 of these glues, like really high strength glue that you need like ID to buy. And I sauntered in. Oof. Hey, just looking for 20 glue and 20 razor blades. And they were like, sound the alarm, sound the alarm. We got a crazy person in here. They looked at me like I was buying a gun. Like it wasn't a good look. And I just sauntered in thinking, whatever. And they said, oh, what's it for? Now, if you work in TV, a lot of the time you're not really meant to say like what you're working on, because it's kind of like a surprise. So some people will make up things. I used to always say it was a sausage roll commercial. I don't know why. Sometimes people would say that. The guy from Stranger Things recently came out and said that he was working on a mayonnaise commercial or documentary. It's just a bit of fun, keeps things exciting until you can actually say what you're doing. So I was like, oh, it's just for my work. And they were like, right. So you're going to tell us what it is? Like, I don't think we can sell them unless you tell us. And I was like, I'm sure you can, but also it's just for my work. I work in an art department. And they were like, right, so you're still being vague. You're still being vague. And I was like, to be honest, I don't even know. The issue with my job in the art department was they didn't actually ever tell me what things were for. It's not like they were like, oh, we're making a coffin. Can you buy this for the coffin? Or it needs to be this specific color for the train or something. They'd just kind of be like, we need this. So I look like Muggins when I'm trying to order 20 bloody razor blades and they think I'm slicing and dicing the townsfolk. That's obviously not what's happening. I'm obviously just a wee woman. I just got told to do it. It's my job. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, eventually I managed to get my 20 razor blades and my glue, and then I became famous in B&Q. Is that not super fun? Anytime I'd go back into B&Q, they'd look at me like, oh, there's that nutter. There's that crazy person. They'd be like, what? Want more blades? And I'd be like, nah, I just need some paint today. Or like, oh, I'm looking for a broom. So that was a weird request, definitely, that got an odd look. I also had to buy an axe once. I took a pic. Maybe I'll insert it into the video if you're watching. I don't know why I look so awkward. Probably because I just asked this random man in the shop to take a picture of me, but I was trying to show the art team what size it was. So I took a pic holding this axe, and let's just say I won't be walking around with an axe anytime soon because it wasn't a good look. Didn't suit me. Yeah, I'll not be chopping trees anytime soon, that's for sure, because it really didn't suit me at all. Some of the other jobs that I had to do whilst I was working on Traitors just sound like not even a job in comparison to people who have real jobs. But if you've watched it, there's a chessboard, this giant human-sized chessboard. I had to be on my hands and knees and clean that for 2 whole hours. Spray, wipe, literally with my hand. So if you watched it and thought, damn, that's a mighty fine chessboard, that was me. I cleaned that for about 2 hours roughly. What else did I do? I got to help make some wreaths. That was kind of fun. And I got to set dress actually. And from that, I actually stole. Oh, I swear I'm not a thief, but something in me had to save these bunnies. They're not real bunnies. 2 little soft toy bunnies came out of this big bunny toy. Like you open the big bunny and these 2 little bunnies came out. And I just couldn't see them go to the scene. I don't know why my maternal instincts really came into play when I saw these 2 bunnies, and I thought I must save them from their fate of being put in this Traitors game show, and so I took them. Can't believe I'm admitting to that. What a thief. I'm actually a thieving. Yeah, I'm pretty badass. I'm a thief. Yeah, so I've got these 2 really cute bunnies now on my bed, and they're from Traitors, and it's a really nice memory of Traitors actually, because just kind of fun, isn't it? Just kind of fun. I don't know what was going on with me on this show, but I must have had my big bitch pants on because I was like, I'm not doing that. When I first joined TV, there was nothing I wouldn't have done. You could have asked me to wipe your bum for you. I probably would have done it. Like I was a yes man. Yes, I'll do that. I'll be the first to do it. So keen all the time. In Traitors, there was one particular job which was having to discard. There was this massive bucket where everyone would smoke and put like their ash or their cigarettes, whatever. And guys, you bet your bottom dollar this girl did not do it. Because I'm a non-smoker, I just felt like that's not the job for me. I know that we all have to do jobs we don't want to do, you know. I'm not saying there's not things that I wouldn't say no to every job that came along I didn't want to do, but for some reason that really crossed a line mentally for me, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Someone would take a photo, put it in the chat like, can this get removed? And did I ever do it once? Did I heck? You will never have seen me do that ever. I came into my own actually, I think I brought boundaries to Traitors because there's some things I was like, guys, I'm not doing that. I'm absolutely not doing that. Do you know what was super cool about being on Traitors was being in the castle? Like seeing something on TV all the time and then actually being there is pretty amazing. I can't really explain the feeling, but it's pretty incredible. And because I always wanted to work in TV, like I always get this real sense of achievement when I'm in places that I've seen on TV. So I was like, wow, this is incredible. But actually, one time, guys, so all of us got photos like around the castle. I've got a photo in like the library and stuff, like super cool, super fun. One time I went in to get a photo in the in one of the rooms. I'm such a massive clot. I just yeeted my water bottle all over the floor. It's like literally flying everywhere on the floor. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not even meant to be in here. I'm meant to be working. So I had to run, get a kitchen towel, not let anyone see what I was doing, because why am I carrying all this like kitchen roll and like towels and stuff? Run back up and dry it all off, and it literally stained the whole wood. Like the color of the thing completely changed because it was then wet, and I just had to run away and just pretend I didn't know anything about it. Oh, such a bad person, such a bad person. Um, I'm assuming it dried because I never ever heard anything about it. But I literally was like, all of this for a photo. Like, imagine I've just ruined the whole show. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It was so bad. I felt so, so bad. Something else. Another one of the jobs was like going and buying snacks and things. So I would go to Tesco with a trolley, and I would honestly buy like £300 worth of snacks, like chocolate. It was like shit, like chocolate, crisps, like you name it. It was in this cart, like I'm brew, like I always bought I'm brew because I thought Scottish, let's get Scottish. Tonics tea cakes, they're always in, but shortbread. Anyway, and people would be loving it in Tesco. I was famous in Tesco. They'd be like, oh, someone's hungry. Or like, oh, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, I'm on my period, just ravenous. Oh, can't stop me, got a bit of a sweet tooth. I was always just making up little fun jokes for the people of the town, you know. I just thought, this is gonna make their day, a little quirky little joke to them. Obviously, that would not make my day if someone did that to me, but everyone was loving it. I was like, oh, you know, after just a wee snack. It's just my midnight snack for tonight, lads. Am I right? Just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun, really. Now I've said it aloud, it doesn't actually sound that funny, but it was fun at the time. But me, one wee woman with a shopping trolley full. I actually realised I'm really good at Tetris when I did this, because the way that car was packed, the way the trolley was packed, unbelievable. And let me tell you, did I cash in on the Tesco points? Yeah, I did. I probably made like at least 20 quid from just Tesco points alone from the time I was up there. That's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money. A lot of free money as well, which is pretty epic. The one thing I didn't do is buy things that I wanted on the card. Like, obviously, I'd get snacks that I thought were nice so that I could enjoy them as well. But I once worked on a TV show where the girl was like, oh, yeah, I used to buy my dinner on the card all the time. And she would go and she would buy all the snacks, whatever, then buy like steaks. She would buy steaks for dinner on the company card and just be like, she was like, no one will ever notice. Imagine having the gumption and the audacity to do that. I would love that. I wish I could do that, but obviously I never did that. But that would be pretty fun. So maybe if I ever work in TV, I'll try and do that and like spend all their money or something. But it's not really in my nature, unfortunately. But I did get myself some snacks I liked. Wee Tonics tea cake, wee Milky Bar here and there. It was good. Anyway, to combat the busy, hectic working schedule, you'd think, oh, I bet when you all go home, you all just sit in your bed, cozy up, read a nice book, cup of tea. No. The social life up north, crazy, absolutely crazy.com. Basically, you'd come home from a 12-hour shift. I personally would get dinner at the co-op. I'd get myself a meal deal, sit in my room and eat that, which was probably the saddest thing ever. I'd have a shower, do my hair, out to the pub. I don't know what was going on. It's like if you didn't go out, because we all stayed in our own rooms, you had no mates, like unless you were out and about. So if we weren't working, we were drinking. We were absolutely sending it. There was no like, oh, let's get a peaceful night's sleep and some rest. Although some days I did have to do that because I'd be dead. But most of the time, I pint, another pint. Actually, in some of the pubs near where we were, they'd have discount for Traitors staff because they would see us all the time and they would just be like, oh, come to our bar instead. And it was quite fun. I also loved showing all the London people all the Scottish like traditions. There was one pub with like tartan wallpaper and people would Highland dance, and there was like bagpipes and Cayley music, and it was so much fun. I felt very, very proud to be a true Scot there. As the token Scot, I had to explain a few things. But yeah, we would go to the pub all the time, and there was this one nightclub we would go to, and there was two sections of it. The first night we went, the night before, there had been like a stabbing or something, but it was the only place you could go, really. So we would go there all the time, and it was super fun. But guys, waking up every day hungover and doing your job, it's just the pits. Or like you'd have a day off, so everyone would send it the night before. And then I remember my first day off crawling around crawling around my hotel room, crawling around the area, just like did not make the most of the day at all. It was terrible. It was actually terrible. One of the days though, we did make the most of it. We all went swimming. We went wild swimming. That was really nice. Albeit it was freezing. It was really nice just to hang out with everyone soberly and not be drinking. But we would go out and we would just get tipsy. I remember one day actually coming into work. Oh, this is c'est très tragique. I actually missed my shuttle in the morning because I failed to wake up, because I failed to set an alarm because I was drunk. Woke up, did not remember a thing. I actually woke up with Georgia in my bed, which was a bit random. Didn't realize we were having a sleepover, so that was confusing. This boy opened the door. Hey, Tessa, you've missed your shuttle. Like, you need to go later. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Guys, I should have just called in sick. Why I didn't do that, I'll never know. I kind of have a thing where I don't really agree with calling in sick if you're hungover, because I just think, pull it together. Stop being a little gimp. Like, why are you being a wimp? You're actually being a wimp right now. Pull it together. So I pulled it together. I got in about 2 hours later than I was meant to. So that was horrendous. And then I had to drive to B&Q again, my favorite place in the world. And I really took a turn then. To start with, I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I've got this. Don't worry about it. Although I had blacked out the night before. Like, I do not remember what happened, which was less than ideal, obviously. But I was like, it's fine. Like, we'll just move on. Go to B&Q, go to like pick something up, park the car, and I'm running. What from? Oh, from myself, running from the fear. I have to run into the bush at B&Q and I have to be sick. Rough. That is, there's nothing like a hangover when you're at work. It is so horrendously bad and not worth it. Like, guys, just never do that. If you're going to take anything from this pod, don't go to work hungover, just call in sick. I know I've just said that I have something against that, but from now on I probably would, because, guys, it was hell. It was actually hell and horror. And being sick beside whatever car I was driving. I actually got to drive quite nice cars, but I literally spewing in B&Q car park. I thought, first I'm buying all these razors, next I'm being sick in their car park. They're literally going to have my face up. Like, I'm going to be banned from here. I'm actually going to be banned. Anyway, spewed my guts up there, then had to buy tons of paint. I'm crawling around B&Q. Where's the paint? Where's the paint? Like, I was just on another planet. And like, I honestly don't know how I got through it. Looking back, you know, it was so silly. I should have been off. I don't know why. I just had too much pride to be off. So managed to drive back to the castle, deliver the goods, but like, it was actually really nice. There was some people in the castle art, and they had a little art department room, and I'd often go there. They'd always have biscuits and tea and coffee, and I could sit there. And I remember going in and being like, guys, this is not the one. This is not the one. And they were like, oh my God, just stay and hide here. And so I absolutely did that. Like, I just had to sit there for like an hour sipping my tea, praying that God had a plan for me, because I thought, this is the end. I'm going to die in the Traitors Castle. First real death in the Traitors Castle. And it's going to be me. It's going to be Muggins, because I'm so hungover. It was actually hell, hell, hell on earth. Another thing I did, we had to fill up the waters all the time. So I got absolutely ripped. Like, I feel stronger than ever. I was actually in great physical shape when I was up there, I must say. I was doing so many steps. I was lifting things. So I was actually in a bit of a sleigh mode, bit of a sleigh era. Also, Scottish water, so good for your skin, so good for your hair. I really felt like I was thriving. The sun was shining sometimes. So it wasn't all doom and gloom. It was actually quite nice. And I was kind of living my best life. Although I do remember at one point I was so stressed, I started running. Now, I've realized something about me in my life is if I'm in a bad place mentally, that's when I get the trainers, dust them off, pop them on the tootsies, and I get running. Like, if I ever get a PB, if I ever get anything, not that I'm like a big runner who's trying to get PBs, but if I was to get one, you best believe I'm either really angry at someone, or I'm really upset about something, or I'm just mentally really stressed. And that's when I run. So I started running, and there was actually some really nice running routes, and a lot of people would run because a lot of people were just into their health and fitness, whatnot. But this one boy was like, I want to run with you. Like, let's go to run together. But he was doing a plan for a marathon or something. But he was like, oh, it's my route where I don't have to go fast, because I'm a really slow runner. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. So we did a 5K together. Actually, I think I did quite well. Like, it was good. And then another girl joined us one day, and got to the point where it was me, this boy, and this girl. We'd all go running. She was like a runner when she was younger, and he was training for a marathon. So obviously they're good runners with me, little Stumpy McGee. Like I'm not a runner. And although I'm tall, I'm quite like lanky. So like I probably look like I'm semi okay at running, but I'm really not. I'm really unfit. And I went running with them. And then one day I didn't go because I might have been with this boy that I was seeing at the time. And then I found out basically the boy that we'd gone running with had said to someone, "Do you know what's so funny? Is Tessa looks like she could be good at running, but she's not that good." And then to this girl, he was like, "You don't look like you'd be that good at running, but you're really good." And I don't know what's more offensive. Like being like, you look like you could be good, but you're really bad. Or being like, you look like you're bad, but you are actually really good at running. Let me know. Please do tell me what you think is worse. Either anyway, I don't think he meant any harm by it, but I just thought it was hilarious because I heard that and then I thought, that's me never running with you guys ever again. I did not want to do that ever again. But luckily I ended up having this kind of love interest. And so I spent a lot of time with him and I hung up the running boot. But yeah, I was obviously really stressed when I was there because I was running a lot. And that is not like me, guys. One thing right now, I'm happy, I'm content. Do you see me running? No. And there's a reason for that. Mentally, I'm on Gucci, baby. Although recently I've been crying a lot and I don't know what that is and I should look into that. By the way, can I just say, if you want to work in TV or you work in TV, you know that the people make it. Like my experience on Traitors, although I was tired, it was kind of hellish. Like I realized when I was there, I do not want to be a runner anymore. That's been 3.5 years of me doing it. And I was like, I must get out. I really want to get into podcasting. Like I need to leave this industry because I was just physically and mentally exhausted by it all. The people there literally just make your time. Like there were so many nice people, so many funny people. Like everyone is so supportive. Everyone is so nice. You also meet some like crazy characters, and it's such a great environment. Like I've got lifelong friends from pretty much every TV show I've ever done. And that's quite an amazing thing to be able to say because some people go to work and they don't even like who they work with. Whereas, like every show I've worked on, I've had really nice people. And I feel like on this job specifically, there was a lot of good eggs. And I like that. I like that a lot. So I ended up leaving Traitors. I only did 2 series. And thank God, because honestly, my heart could not take it any longer. I don't know how everyone else did it. Like, fair play to them, troopers. I just was not built of strong enough stuff to last the distance. But when I went down, I was so hungover. I must have just absolutely chucked it again the night before. And oh, I think I was kind of upset actually because I was leaving and like I'd seen this boy and it was just a whole thing. And so I just got really, really drunk the night before. And I did the journey from up north to London. I think it was a 10-hour train journey or like maybe 9 hours. Raw dogged, whole thing. Whole thing raw dog. I just lay on my chair. Luckily, there was no one beside me for the whole journey. Like, thank goodness. I did not look at my phone. I did not have any headphones in. I literally just lay there like this. Like I'd been to war or something, like post-war. I was having flashbacks of traitors running around, banshees, like everything, ghouls, all sorts. I was literally just sat on the train like this for 9 hours. I don't know how I did it. I look back, I honestly do not know how I did it. Anyway, obviously Traitors is about to be filmed again. Now, let me tell you, I've just told you a lot of things being like, it's crazy, it's chaotic, it's mental. Would I go back? Probably. One thing about TV is at the time, a lot of the time, it's kind of hellish, but like, it basically, I think most people's jobs are pretty mundane. They're going along. Maybe they have a week up. Yeah, they had a good week, they had a bad week, they go down a bit. See, when it comes to TV, it's literally like a heart monitor. Like it's like bing, bing, bing. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Like the highs are so good. You're like, this is incredible. Like watching it back and seeing my name on the credits, seeing things that I personally did on the screen. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is why I'm in TV. Like, this is so good. Like seeing everyone's stories. It's brilliant. But the lows, like when you're in your room crying by yourself, eating a co-op meal deal, oh, you've just broken up with your TV boyfriend of, whatever. Oh, it's just hell. It's actually the pits. It's actually the pits. And so when you leave, you're like, I can't go back. Like the lows were too bad. The lows were too bad. But then time goes on, all you think about is the highs. All you think about is how funny was that day? How good was this bit? Remember that challenge? That was amazing. Remember this? And so you go back and the cycle repeats itself. It's crazy. Anyway, consider this the last time that I will talk about traitors, because honestly, I had been so unbearable to my friends. All I do, yep, I did this, I did this. Shut up. How about shut up, Tessa? Anyway, I hope you all love watching the new series. I can't wait to catch up and watch some more. And thank you so much for listening or watching. This is Tessa Tries. Be sure to give it 5 big star Roonies and like, comment, subscribe. Tell me I'm brilliant. And hashtag YOLO swag. Don't be gel, just be Reem. Bye.